Hello children, my name is Giacomo Zucco. I am a Bitcoin educator, but today I'm here to tell you a story. This is the story of the three little pigs. You may think that you already know it, but this version is a little bit different. In fact, in this version there are more than just three pigs, there are several of them, and the pigs are not really pigs, they are metaphors. They represent digital monetary tools. So here's the first pig I want to tell you about. His name was Egold, and he was just playing when he heard a wolf howling from a distance. He decided to build himself a house as a protection from wolves. Being in a rush and not really experienced in architecture, he built just a hut out of straws. Building it was quick, easy, fast, efficient. For a while, nothing really happened. So the Egold pig was sure that the hut was stable and resistant enough. He spent his days just relaxing and enjoying the sense of security that the straw hut provided him. But then, one tragic day, a hungry wolf finally passed by. This hungry wolf went by many names and acronyms. He was known as FED, SEC, IRS, or DOJ. Many acronyms. His favorite food happened to be, coincidentally, little pigs. So he passed by this straw house and he smelled the pig inside. He thought the pig would make a mighty fine meal, and his mouth began to water. He approached the straw hut and he said, little pig, let me in." But the little pig, Egold, saw the wolf's big pounce through the keyhole. So he was scared and he answered back, No, not by the hairs on my chinny chin chin." Then the wolf showed his teeth and he said, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down." And so he did. He huffed, he puffed, and he blew the straw hut down. The wolf opened his jaws very wide and beat down as hard as he could. But the little Egold pig managed to escape and run away, joining the second little pig, who was looking at the scene from some distance. This second little pig, like the wolf, also went by many names. He was called DigiCash, Hashcash, RPOW, B-Money, BitGold, several different names. Having witnessed the scene that just happened to his little brother, he spent the next days trying some more ambitious engineering experiment. He built, in fact, a big cabin with logs and sticks. It was an important and complex effort, and before he could even finish the last parts of the cabin, the hungry wolf, known as FED, SEC, IRS, and DOJ, and many other acronyms, arrived. So the wolf knocked at the door of the log cabin and said, little pigs, let me in." But the little pigs saw the wolf's pointy ears through the keyhole. So they answered back, No, not by the hairs on our chinny chin chin." So the wolf showed his teeth and said, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down." So he did. He huffed, he puffed, and he blew the log house down. The two little pigs barely managed to escape. They joined a third pig who was called Bitcoin. The third pig, Bitcoin, had witnessed everything. So he immediately started building a sound fortress made of hundreds of heavy and resistant bricks. It was a very huge effort, sometimes boring, always challenging, never any time to play or to sing, always working, always building. Finally, the Bitcoin pig finished up the brick fortress just in time before the wolf passed by again. The wolf knocked on the big door of the brick fortress and said, little pigs, let me in." But the three little pigs saw the wolf's pointy ears through the keyhole. So they answered, No, not by the hairs of our chinny chin chin." So the wolf showed his teeth and said, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down." Well, he did huff, he did puff, but he could not blow the brick fortress down. At last, He was so out of breath that he couldn't huff and he couldn't puff anymore. So he just went away. You may think this is the end of the story, but it isn't. As I told you at the beginning, there were more than just 3 pigs. There were in fact many pigs. After a while, the news about the impenetrable fortress spread around, and many pigs came to ask to the Bitcoin pig to let them in as well. The Bitcoin pig kept building, brick after brick, expanding the fortress to accommodate everybody. But some other pigs were jealous of Bitcoin's position of fame and privilege. They wanted the glory for themselves. They didn't have the skills, the patience, or the commitment to build another fortress comparable to the Bitcoin's one. But they tried out a few clever workarounds instead. Some of them just built new straw houses, just like the one built by eGold that the wolf had blown away some days before. But they wrote the word brick on all the straws with a pencil. Then they started renting out their huts for a very high price. It was a very profitable business. While the Bitcoin pig was busy building with actual bricks, which were heavy and took many days for every new room to be completed, these new pigs were building hundreds of straw huts every day, and they had a lot of time left to play, to sing, and to mock the poor Bitcoin pig. You see, everybody knew by then that a straw hut was not safe from the wolf. But unlike the eGold pig, who was at least honest about using straws to build, the new pigs marketed the huts as Brick Fortress because they wrote bricks on the straws with pencils. The point is that the wolf was now away since many weeks, so there was nothing to test and falsify those claims. And the memory of what happened to eGold was starting to fade away. You see, pigs have a very short memory. Another lazy pig, jealous of Bitcoin, said, "Why must I use hundreds of normal-sized bricks to build my fortress? I will just use these new custom 30-meter cube bricks, so I can build a very big fortress with just 5 bricks." The awkward result was, of course, dangerously unstable and obviously unable to keep any wolf out. But, the wolf was not there, so nobody really cared. Many pigs paid very high rent to enter that gigameg brick thing. Another lazy pig, jealous of Bitcoin glory, said, "Lava lamps are really cool. They are a great touch of design for a house. Why should we buy them separately with the furniture? Let's use lava lamps instead of bricks directly. It will be so cool." Again, the absence of the wolf, together with the very strong incentives to pretend to have invented new anti-wolf solutions, caused this kind of silly ideas to proliferate without control. There were houses made of chocolate bricks, so you can also eat them when you're hungry. There were houses made of fish tanks, houses made of enriched uranium bricks, because the heavy radiation was thought to protect from the wolves. Most of these experiments didn't even get actually built at all, but the lazy pigs made money with anticipated rents and pre-sales anyway. There was also another pig who worked as innovation manager for a big consulting firm. He studied Bitcoin's fortress a big deal, and then he said, the brick fortress itself is useless, but the underlying brick technology is very interesting. We don't need any fortress, but we can use brick technology to build wonderful nightstands and coffee tables. It was rumored that this pig was a very good friend with wolves, so one may think that these suggestions were a little bit suspect. Anyway, in the meantime, Bitcoin kept building a sound fortress made of real bricks, even if many other pigs were mocking him like this. "You take too long, you don't have a minute spare left to sing and to play, and your bricks are too small, they are not even radioactive, and you cannot even eat them or use them as cool lava lamps." The Bitcoin pig didn't care. Eventually, after many months, the hungry wolf finally came back again, fully recovered. He huffed and he puffed, and all the huts built with straws with a brick word written on them with pencils just collapsed immediately. He huffed again and he puffed again, and the Gigamech giant brick house collapsed. You may be surprised to hear that even the lava lamp fortress didn't perform much better. Then the wolf slaughtered all the pigs except the ones inside the Bitcoin fortress. It was a very graphic scene, gruesome, almost splattered. The Bitcoin pig and all his guests were unaffected. Stay safe, kids.